second, and we'll go with Casey and Joe.
DeMar, obviously a big story in the league the last week or so has been the moves that some of your Eastern Conference counterparts have made in Boston and Milwaukee. Kind of, what's your assessment of kind of the Eastern Conference landscape and where you guys fit into all that?
I love it. I love it. The competition level should want to bring the best out of you to be able to want to compete against that. That's how I look at it. That's my view. And that's one thing I want to express to the guys. When you see that, you got to get more hungry, understanding that, you want to go against those big-time teams like that and compete. You want to be ready. You want to be ready, prepared. You want to try to put in all the effort you need to be ready for those moments, because that should bring the best out of you every single night. So, to me, I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting. It's fun. And I love it from a competitor standpoint and from a fan standpoint.
DeMar, I remember talking to you about this last year. You've, in your career, have never asked for a trade, have never looked to rock boats or talk money. Business is the business. How do you approach this offseason, the same kind of mentality that you signed a contract? I think you said it's like when you sign up to be a dad, you finish out what you signed up for. And so how's your mentality as far as going into this year?
Same. Be honest with you, how cliche it may sound, like I really don't wake up or go to sleep with that on my mind. Every day I wake up with the opportunity to know I could walk on my feet. I'm thankful. I'm grateful for those moments. And from there on out, I just try to push forward. And when it's time to come to work or step on this basketball court, I just appreciate the opportunity to be able to still play more than anything. Just like I was a kid, to be honest with you. So how cliche it sound, I wish I had something cooler to say, but I'm just happy to be able to play and be able to put on an NBA jersey, to be honest with you.
DeMar, you said in the offseason about shooting more threes. Was that something you went into the offseason knowing was going to be a focus? And how do you kind of mesh that with your game? You're a veteran of the game, all-star. How do you kind of add something but also remaining true to yourself?
I mean, it's going to come. All day I've been trying to think of something funny to try to make a play on that, but it's going to come. Like, I don't overthink it. I'm going to play the game. At the end of the day, it's basketball. What's up? Hey TC. Honestly, it's going to come. I know they make a big deal of it. Like I don't shoot enough, but it'll come. Like, I'm not even going to think about it. I think more so than anything, y'all guys will make it a big deal if I do hit 8 or 9 threes in a game. You know what I mean? But it's something that I definitely go out there, I work on, I know I can do. I just never made a conscious effort to do it. But, like I said, the style of play and understanding how we want to play, whatever's needed from me, I'm going to be able to be ready for it and to do it with no problem.
Hey, DeMar, the point guard position is obviously one of the big questions to kind of answer in the beginning of this preseason. What's your perspective on that? What's kind of been your perspective just working with, Io, Cody, a little bit with Jevon here as they kind of compete for that position?
I don't know. I'm about to try to compete for the point guard position. I'm trying to beat one of those guys out, so they got to worry about me from that standpoint. But, it's a hell of a group of those guys that's competitors, that has the capability to be our starting point guard. And I think it's going to be a great fun week just working with those guys, seeing what mesh well with the starting five, with the second group, and a combination of both with those guys, because any one of those guys can be on the court with any one of those guys or us, whatever it may be. So the talent, the understanding, the compete level those guys have is definitely going to be fun.
You said you love the moves being made, and Zach just recently said that he hopes someone was representing the Bulls in the NBA script meeting. So what do you hope the NBA script writers have said for you in the Bulls this season?
For us, we holding up that trophy. I hope they put that in the back of it. If the script do exist.
Hey, DeMar, if USA Basketball asks you, would you go to the Olympics?
For sure. being able to represent the country. I've had an opportunity to do it twice. One of the greatest moments in my life to be able to do it, and to be able to, if I'm asked to do it, I definitely would do it.
DeMar, you talked about putting in the work to be ready for the big moments. Looked like you got a lot more visitors out in California this summer. Did you see the younger guys on this team putting the work in?
Oh, man. Yeah, they went through it, man. They went through it. It was tough. It was tough on them. It was tough. I let them tell you how it went, but it was tough. It was tough. But they put it in. They didn't miss a day. I'll tell you that. I give them credit. They made it through. I didn't feed them nothing, but they made it through.
AK DeMar said that contract extension negotiations between you guys, they have had talks. Just how would you characterize those so far, the talks with the Bulls?
I have an agent. He deals with it, and I tell him to leave me the hell alone so I can focus on my 5 kids and my regular day life. And I'm not kidding you. I really try not to focus on that or deal with that. I let them handle whatever needs to be handled from that standpoint. Then if I get a call about something's being something, then I go from there.
I have one follow-up on that. Do you find yourself the same things, meaning the same things late in your career as earlier as you look at your next contract in this situation in your final years?
Do I say it again?
Do the same things matter just as much as they always did early in your career to now when it comes to money, location, family, team fit, everything? Is it the same or has that changed at all?
I think all of it stays the same, but your goal at the end of the day is wanting to win. Whatever within that, you got to find a perfect balance that works from, I know the way I look at it from both sides. It just got to be a perfect balance from both ends. It just got to make sense. You know what I mean? And that's how I take the approach about it, but for me, it's all about understanding what we could do to win, how I could win. Obviously, this is a place I want to be. It's a great place, so you could take that out of the equation. It's just working out whatever makes sense from there for both sides. I'll let them handle that, and I just control what I could control.
So you just admitted a little while ago that your observations, those quirky observations you come up with all season, are rehearsed, huh? You were saying you're trying to think of something to come up with. I'll go ahead. I have a question, question. This organization it's been interpreted as continuity.
Yeah.
The fulfillment of the roster going forward. You were at a place that sort of practiced at Toronto year after year after year and finally, got to places. Do you believe in that philosophy more so, say, than some teams are making dramatic changes?
Without doubt. Those days, and I hate dwelling on the past about anything, but that continuity goes so far. Sometimes you got to fail as a group to understand what it takes to even win as a group. Sometimes you gotta hit the wall hard with a group to understand if we all gonna help one another back up. And for me, even going out to Nashville, just locking in tomorrow, getting away from being in a city where it's just us, really gaining that camaraderie, that chemistry, that understanding what it takes, what we need to do by knowing how much we failed last year and the things that put us in a place that, we had to play for a playing game. We gotta go into training camp with that on our heart. And with that, we can leave out of there with much more continuity than we had before. And, that's one thing that always put me in a position to have successful teams was the continuity.
DeMar, you battled against Jevon Carter the last couple of years in Milwaukee, before that in Phoenix. What can his on-ball defense, his ability to pick up guys 94 feet, and his ability to be an outlet as a three-point shooter add to your team?
Everything. The competitor he is outstanding. He used to get on my nerves in Phoenix and in Milwaukee, to be honest with you. One, because he wore mismatched shoes, and two, he was just a dog out there every possession, every time we was in. I forgot what game was it last year. He killed us, and that just shows you the type of player he is, what he could bring to a team. And, he's played with a lot of great players in this league. And, just that understanding and awareness on the court, playing with players, that goes a long way. So looking forward to be able to compete with them.
DeMar, this is you, Zach, and Vooch's third time around together as teammates. Why will this season produce better results than the previous two?
Because a third time is a charm.
DeMar, was Aya one of the guys that went with you to California to train? And
Nah, he was supposed to come. He was. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give him that. He had called me. He was supposed to come one weekend, but I think I was leaving out of town, so I dropped the ball on that one. He was on his way, but I left out of town.
So what would you like to see him? This is his third year into the league. What would you like to see the next level? What would it take for him to get to that next level for this season?
I mean, it's third year for him. Just putting everything together. You know, your rookie year, you kind of oblivious to so much. Everything is so new. Your second year, you think you got it figured out, but you realize you really don't got it figured out. They got you more figured out than anything. So this time around, just putting it all together, the understanding of what it takes to be a complete pro in this league and be consistent and bring it every single night. So for me, my challenge to him just to be able to bring it every single day and practice and film in a game and shoot around. And I think, you know, with his experience in his third year, he's definitely aware of that.
DeMar, going back to the point guard, going back to the point guard battle, what do you guys need? What does this roster need from a point guard? And kind of what have you guys maybe been missing since Lonzo got hurt?
Just somebody to be able to control us in a sense, push the speed, understand when to push the speed, get us in the offense, be able to call and run plays on the fly. You know, I think a lot of times last year we looked towards and leaned towards Billy a lot of times down the court, and sometimes we need that presence of understanding from the guard position what type of tempo we need to play, when to push the ball, when to run it down, when to run a play. Small things like that to make us more decisive and quicker when we out there.
I have one simple question. What do you look forward to the most about this season?
Man, the new beginning of it. You know, everybody's 0-0. You know, and from here on out, you know, once with the work we put in these next few weeks, you know, getting ready for a new season, you're gonna see how bad, you know, people want it. Not just us, just across the league. You know, every single year, these last couple of years, you know, nobody would have picked, you know, the Heat to make it to the finals. You know, it's always some type of story that's written that nobody had expected. You know, and that's the beauty of the game, that anything can happen. So I'm looking forward more so than anything. Thanks, everyone. Yep.